Since invading Iraq, 4,482 Americans have died there, over 32,000 wounded, over $700 billion spent. But today the White House announced a new number, 0. Sticking to a date chosen by President Bush years ago, President Obama has ordered the withdrawal of all troops. And 10 weeks from tonight, the war in Iraq will finally be over.
Across America, our servicemen and women will be reunited with their families. Today, I can say that our troops in Iraq will definitely be home for the holidays.
ABC's Christiane Amanpour has covered this war and this region extensively. Aside from family members of these men and women coming home, who else is happy with this announcement?
I think Iran, because there'll be no more U.S. combat troops in Iraq, something Iran wanted. The U.S. basically has been asked to leave Iraq because the Prime Minister could not get it past the pro-Iranian faction in Parliament. Some also are very worried here in the U.S. that progress which has been made now might not be able to be consolidated.
And let's pivot to the other major story of the days. Libya, the final hours of Muammar Gadhafi, gripping new details.
Indeed, and no accident that the Iraq announcement was made on this day where they're claiming success in Libya. But big questions about how Gadhafi was killed. As bad as he was, it looks like he could have been summarily executed.
And before we show your piece, a warning to you at home, some of the images here are very graphic.
In the end, it proved to be a 21st century war. Cell phone cameras capturing Gadhafi's final moments. You can even hear rebel fighters shouting, "Keep him alive," as he is beaten and bloodied. Most reports say that Gadhafi had been pulled from a hiding place in this drainpipe after NATO bombs stopped his convoy. Just before his death, Gadhafi can be heard pleading for mercy, telling his captors that what they're doing is wrong.
Ciao, Muammar Gadhafi. Bye-bye, Muammar Gadhafi. See you. When I die, I will go to paradise, but you will go to hell, inshallah.
The brutal nature of his killing has raised questions in the international community, and the UN has asked for a full investigation. On the other hand, he had so terrorized generations of Libyans that many say Gadhafi's grisly end was his kind of justice. People lined up for hours outside this cold storage facility where his body's being held, hoping for a glimpse of it.
Because in Libyan people there somebody don't believe the Gaddafi is dead.
Now that the war is officially over,
We kill him, we did it! We did it!
we're learning more details about how Gadhafi lived out his final days. In an interview with Al Arabiya television, his security chief said that Gadhafi had been hiding in his hometown of Sirte since August, when rebels took over the capital Tripoli. But then, he said, as Sirte came under attack, Gadhafi grew anxious but was never afraid. Also captured and killed in Sirte was Gadhafi's son and national security advisor Mutassim. Here he is just 2 years ago in Washington, meeting with Secretary of State Hillary Clinton during Libya's short-lived reconciliation with America.
Thank you. We're delighted you're here.
Thank you.
What a difference a revolution makes. This was Mutassim yesterday, bearded and dirty, smoking what must have been his final cigarette. Later images show him dead from a chest wound. A summary execution? Still on the lam is Gadhafi's son and heir apparent Saif al-Islam, rumored to have been wounded yesterday.
Are you afraid at all?
Afraid of what?
That was Saif when we spoke back in February.
Before all this happened, you were known, certainly in the West, for being a reformer, speaking the language of reform for Libya. But it didn't happen. Why did it take this kind of crisis for you to start talking about reform again? Wouldn't it have been better to have implemented what you're talking about now, way before?
Of course, it was a big
So why not?
It was a big mistake.
Saif was once the darling of the West, educated at England's finest schools. He was often sent by his father to meet with foreign dignitaries.
He was very progressive and, like I said, westernized and democratic thinking. But when the crisis happened, he hunkered down.
Jacqueline Fraser, an American who was working with the Gaddafis trying to bring foreign investment to Libya, says Saif changed after the war began.
Saif was always the reformer, and he was pushing very Western concepts.
You still believe that's true, given
Absolutely.
what he said during the uprising?
This is a family in crisis. This is a man who has reacted according to what's put on him.
Saif, who, like his father, called the rebel fighters rats, now seems to be running from them.
Listen, nobody is leaving this country. We live here, we die here.
And with the dictator dead, the future doesn't look bright for his offspring, who've been living off the country's massive wealth, using it as a private piggy bank, which the new Libyan authorities want back. Saif is wanted by the International Criminal Court for war crimes. Gaddafi's glamorous daughter Aisha has been hiding in Algeria with some of her siblings, but Libya's new rulers have asked for her extradition. And another son, Saadi, a one-time professional soccer player, is under house arrest in the African nation of Niger.
Why did Saadi go to Niger? Why didn't he stay and fight to the last man?
He tried to help until the end with his people, but also his family. And this last time, I think he finally realized that his father and his brother were never going to give those people the freedoms they wanted.
Now that the people of Libya have the freedom they wanted, the world watches to see what they will do with it.
Certainly what the United States is going to be looking for is the National Transitional Council trying to unify all these disparate factions which have been fighting Gaddafi.
Much more on this week, I assume.
Absolutely.
Christiana Mapour, thank you.